So this is something super random that I just wanted to make because I am a beginner to intermediate roller skater and nobody had made this video, and I really wanted to know what the difference was between the Golden Horse Street Magic and the Golden Horse Street Diamond, and nobody seemed to be talking about it. So I figured I would make my own video now that I own both pairs of skates, so I can walk you through what the differences are in case you're like me and you wanted to kind of make an informed decision about which one of these you wanted to buy. So I should mention that I am not a professional. This is just my opinion. I just happen to own both pairs of skates, and so I can talk about the differences. And I'm going to try and cover everything, but if I've missed anything, just let me know in the comments and I can hopefully give you some answers. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Street Magic and the Street Diamond and what they both are, and then we'll get into the comparison of the two. So the Street Magic, this is what it looks like. This is actually a custom color that I did myself, so I dyed these. So if you're looking on the Golden Horse website to try and find this color, you won't find it. This is something I did. Same with these wheels. I custom dyed these myself, so sorry. But other than that, these are a stock model of Golden Horse Street Magic. So the Street Magic, I think, is about $300 US right now. And so it's a really great skate. I really like this skate. And for me, I am more of a recreational skater. I do a little bit of artistic skating, a little bit of jam skating, nothing too crazy. So I like having my ankles being really supported. I like the feeling that I'm not going to twist my ankle and I'm not going to die. And so the original pair of skates that I had were the Moxie Panthers, and they had really nice stiff uppers and really nice ankle support as well. So that's why I went with Golden Horse, is because of that and the ability to customize it to the shape and size of your foot. So like I said, these are standard Golden Horse Street Magics. They have two options as far as plates go. They have these compound plates here, which are kind of a plastic material, but like really durable plastic somehow. I'm not really sure what that means, but they don't feel like nylon plates. They feel solid. And then the other option is what I have on my Street Diamonds, which is Golden Horse's Vanguard plates. And these guys are aluminum, I believe? Titanium? I don't know. All I know is it's Golden Horse's metal plates, and I love these plates. These are amazing, but we can talk about that some other time. But if you are deciding to get a Golden Horse skate of any sort, you can choose between either those Vanguard plates or these compound plates here. So on the Street Magic, I went with the compound plates, and I got the 360-degree pivot truck upgrade. So what that means is, if we look here on the back, we have our kingpin here, right? But then we have the pivot pin. And so that's what, you know, if you are doing edges or anything like that, when your trucks are moving, they're sitting in your plate using this thing here. So that pivot pin is normally just shaped like a cylinder, but with the 360-degree pivot upgrade, what they do is they have a pin that's kind of a ball and socket joint, and so that gives you a lot more control over the flexibility and the access that you have over your edges, the control that you have over your edges. So having that in there made it very easy for me to, you know, kind of feel the edges, kind of do more flexible stuff in a more controlled way. But yeah, so this is the stock model. You can see we have kind of this rubbery sole here. Good amount of ankle support. Let me move the tongue out of the way. Good amount of ankle support, nice and stiff. We've got a suede on the outside, and yeah, standard toe stop, standard wheels, although I did dye the wheels, but these are the Golden Horse white LED. I think they're 58mm and 101A hardness. They don't actually say on the wheels. So that's that. We got stock cushions, stock laces, everything stock. So yeah, ankle support. What's awesome about Golden Horse is that they have really, really cushiony boots. So if you look in here, it's almost like they put like a memory foam pillow on the inside of their boot, because I can push my fingers in there and you can see it's just plush and cushiony, and so that feels really great on your ankle because your foot kind of slides into the boot really nice, and it feels really like supportive. But it also is really nice if you are doing things like trail skating or on kind of rough surfaces, because the vibration isn't going to give you any friction burn. You're going to feel like it's solid around your ankle instead of like chafing all the time. So that's really nice. So the other thing to talk about with this boot is the tongue. The tongue is nice and flexible and nice and soft on the inside. It's not like the Moxie Panthers where they have that like kind of rubbery thing going on here. And I think what they did is they put rubber on the inside so that your tongue wouldn't slide around. It would kind of stick to you. But with this, they have these little thingies that you put the laces through, and that keeps this tongue from moving around too much too. So this is really nice. So yeah, that's the Golden Horse Street Magic. On their website, they originally said it was a support rating in the ankle of 20, I believe. And so, yeah, supportive ankle, nice plushie on the inside, really, really comfortable to wear. That plushiness does make it so that my feet don't smell so great at the end of the day, just because there's so much insulation, but it's not a big deal. All right, so that is the Magic. Now let's take a look at the Diamond. So the Diamond, like I said, I got these with the Vanguard plates. But you can see we have like a difference in the heel here, a nice like aesthetic difference. It's got kind of a nice curve to this. This is like a harder plastic. It's not that rubbery stuff that's on the heel of the Street Magic. And so I didn't do any customization to the boot other than getting a wider toe box, because I have toes that kind of splay out like this a little bit. So I got a wider toe box. And actually I'm going to exchange these and get it even wider because it's still not wide enough for me. But that's the only customization I did. The Vanguard plates, you can choose from 7 or 8 millimeter axles. I got the 8 millimeters. You can choose from imperial or metric toe stops. I got the imperial toe stops, but then I switched them up for jam plugs because I like jam plugs. And the Vanguard plates are really cool. This is something I really like to mention, is that it's different when you adjust your action in your trucks. There's like a different mechanism here, and you also have to adjust the pivot pins. But that's something for another video, and other people have covered it. So the main difference, I think, between the two boots, because like I said, you can get the plates on either one of these, so the plates isn't really something we're going to talk about too much, but the difference in the boots, I feel like the Diamond is a little bit more sturdy build quality. So not necessarily in terms of like the supportiveness of the boot, but just how durable this boot actually is and the attention to detail that went into making it. I think this is just a little bit higher end and a little bit more quality than the Golden Horse Street Magic. So what I mean by that, let's take a look at the tongue first. In the tongue, it's really, really evident. So you can see we have all this really nice stitching and all these details. So something that the Golden Horse Street Magic doesn't really have, right? This is just all one piece. There's no extra detailing. But on the tongue, you can see we have these different layers, and it makes the tongue nice and stiff. I don't know if they've also added reinforcement to make it stiff, but the tongue is definitely a lot stiffer than on the Street Magic. There's also, I don't know what's going on here. Like, I don't know why they did this, but it was a conscious decision for them to put this extra piece of fabric underneath the suede. And so I don't know why that's a thing, but it is a thing. And so it's like all these little details that really make it feel like a high quality boot. Another thing, this boot doesn't have eyelets. There's no eyelets on there, which makes it a little weird when you're, dealing with the laces. It feels a little strange, but it's not really a big deal. These guys got laces, or I'm sorry, these guys got eyelets, so it's like a metal reinforcement around the hole, which might add to durability. I'm not really sure. Another thing is the stitching. The stitching is slightly different. If you take a look here, this kind of goes in, and then it goes in again, and it's got that kind of a shape. Whereas on the Street Magic, it just kind of goes in once, and then it goes down. So I'm not really sure what that does as far as durability or flexibility, but it is a difference, and it does just make this have more of a detailed appearance. Another difference in terms of the appearance is the sole of the boot. So if we look, this is all just like one piece, and it almost feels like I don't know, like a ceramic or something. I'm not really sure what this material is, but it's very sleek, it's very smooth, and it's hard. This guy, you can see, it's that rubber sole, and it kind of is like stitched on there. We also have like the mounting bolts, you know, so it's not like it's just stitched on there, but it is, yeah, it's stitched. So that's a little bit different. Now the other big difference here, you know, we have a similar level of ankle support. It's not super different. I would say this is a little stiffer than on the Street Magic. But what's really different is the level of cushioning on the inside. So we still have that nice soft velour cushioning, but it's not as thick. So I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of hard to see. But if I press my finger in here, it's not going in as far because there's not that like pillowy amount of cushion in there. There's a nice good soft amount of cushion, but it's not like somebody stitched a pillow into your boot. So a really good way to see this is if we hold this out, you can see it makes this kind of V shape, and that's because there's just so much cushion that it's almost like touching each other in the middle. It's just huge amounts of cushioning. On this one, if we look at that same angle, it's not really making a V so much as it is a U. And that's because this just doesn't have as much of that foamy stuff in there. So it's really nice because it's super comfy and super supportive, more so than like the Panthers, for example. But it's not like sticking your foot in a pillow. It's not so thick. Now that does kind of make it a little roomier in terms of like breathability, which might be your thing, might not, up to you. And then the final big difference in terms of like the shape of the boot are the ankles. So on here, you can see we've got suede, and then we've got this velour material at the top. And on the Street Magic, we have way more velour, which gives you a lot more flexibility up top. And up here, it's mostly just suede and then a tiny little bit of that velour fabric. And so if you wanted to, like, say this is your foot and this is your leg, and you wanted to point your toe and not have your boot just kind of be sticking into you, then this gives you a little bit more flexibility in that regard. This is not going to hold you back as much as something like this will. For me, I don't really care. When I was doing that, it doesn't feel restrictive. I mean, it's stiff, but I like stiffness in my ankle support, so it didn't really bother me. And then another tiny detail, and I don't know what this really does, but you can see, sorry, I'm trying to hold these. You can see the difference in the back straps. In this one, it's just this like rectangle, and in the diamond, it's kind of more of like a spoon shape. It comes out near the bottom, and I don't really know what that does. Might do something, it might not. So that's the ankles, and then the tongues. Tongues are the last thing, I forgot about them. You can see on these guys, on the Street Magic, we have this round tongue, and on the Street Diamond, it's got kind of a divot in it. And these, I didn't really notice too much of a difference. I think, you know, it's up to your personal preference. It doesn't really make that much of a difference to me. I don't really care what the tongue's doing as long as it's staying in place. So if it's round or if it divots, not a big deal to me. But yeah, so that is the main difference between these two boots. I hope that this is helpful, because I know I was trying to decide for myself and nobody was really talking about what the difference was between these. They're very similar in price. I think this one was like $300, and I think this one was like maybe $320 or $310 US dollars. So they're very comparable, they're very similar. Another thing with this though is that you can get the Street Diamond with air holes, which is what I'm planning for my next pair. And you can't do that with the Magic. The Magic just comes as is. Alright, so as far as general recommendations, I think it's entirely up to you. If any of those things are super important to you, you know, if you are like, oh my gosh, I don't want as much pillowy, cushiony stuff in my boot, then you'll want to go with the Diamond. If you want more cushiony, pillowy stuff, then you'll want to go with the Street Magic. But other than that, they're very similar boots, which I guess is why Golden Horse didn't do much as far as explaining the difference to us. But I kind of personally like these a little bit better, just because of the attention to detail and like I feel like they're going to be more durable. I don't know if that's true because these are brand new skates, but I think that they are going to be a little bit more durable because we have like that extra stitching in the tongue, we have that extra support, and there's not as much of the velour stuff, which I feel like is going to get kind of worn down after a while. But that's just my opinion. I don't actually know. And yeah, I really like the sole on these too. I feel like it's harder, so that's going to be kind of nice if I go trail skating and, you know, rocks or whatever are flying up, then less likely to damage it. And it looks really slick. That heel, it's pretty nice. Alrighty, so that is everything I've got. If you have any questions, if you feel like I've missed something, you want me to talk about something specific, then hit me up in the comments and I will try and get to it. Other than that, enjoy. Go out and get yourself some Golden Horse skates.